Cool. Okay, so hopefully you can see the presentation there. So yeah, Oli Bridge, CMO at Bonjoro, and I've been with Bonjoro. I'll talk a little bit about Bonjoro in a second. I've been with Bonjoro, SaaS company, since day one. So we launched beta like end of 2016, and then 2017 January we started going out to paid customers. And had a pretty good time, and we got a lot of early traction, which was really cool, a lot of early adoption. I think a lot of that was because like Bonjoro was created to solve a pain point, and we'd created this MVP that we'd already put in people's hands, so we knew that it was going to get a bit of traction. We've gone from 0 to about 40,000 customers since early 2017. And in 2019, we were in Zapier's list of the top 10 fastest growing apps for work that they published. And basically Zapier did this report where it looks at all of the apps on Zapier, which ones are growing quickest in terms of people connecting connecting Bonjoro with their own apps. So that was really cool for us. And we were in that in 2018, 2019. Hopefully we'll be in there again this year. And a big part of that is because Bonjoro is very much designed to integrate with other platforms, which I'll explain a little bit about in a moment. And as I mentioned just before, I'm also the author of that sort of bumper video funnel playbook that he mentioned, all about how to use video in your own funnels, whether it's sales, customer success, marketing. But actually, this webinar, like as I came to me and was like, can you do a SaaS focused webinar, and particularly around free trial conversions. So I created this content completely new. So, the stuff in this webinar won't actually be in that playbook. So if you want other stuff, go and grab the playbook. But this webinar is just for you guys that are tuning in. Yeah. Very quickly about Bonjoro. So I won't talk too long. I want to get into the actionable stuff that's valuable to you guys. But Bonjoro is about sending personal video messages to convert, onboard, and support your customers. And what we do, we essentially plug in to your own CRM or any other third-party tools that you use to help you send personal videos at exactly the right moment to engage your customers, to engage your leads, or to engage your customers. And that'll make a bit more sense as I go through some of these funnels in here and some of the tactics we're going to talk about. So go for it, Azar. Yeah.
I'm just going to turn off my video. You can see there's nobody in the session has actually used personalized video, so this will be useful. Yeah.
Wow.
Cheers, man.
Awesome. Thanks, man. So I wanted to start off with like a very quick, I've been doing a lot of podcasts recently, and this question kept coming up and up again, which was around when should I use video in, not just in onboarding, but generally in marketing and sales and customer success. And I came up with this mental model, which I think is quite simple. And it's basically split up your sort of low touch, medium touch, and high touch interactions with your customer. So when I talk about low touch, I'm thinking about large groups of customers. This is like your whole email list, and this is automated stuff. And I think this sort of low touch stuff is best for like transactional emails, obviously, like payment, password reminders, that sort of stuff. But also like non-actionable updates. So you're updating your customer with something that doesn't necessitate them taking an action. So I think about like low touch for that. And this webinar, we're not really going to talk about low touch. Bonjoro doesn't operate in that space. And I don't think video works that well in that space. Medium touch is more about like smaller groups, maybe like VIPs. I guess like you could consider maybe like medium touch, like everybody that signed up to this webinar. It's a small group of people that have a sort of common interest. So for me, like this medium touch stuff, like that type of group, that size of group is really best for like educational updates or like actionable updates as well. So maybe like, you're telling them about a new feature in your product. That's a sort of medium touch thing that I think about. And then high touch for me is really where you want to get personalized. And I think using personal forms of communication for me is best for when you want to drive an action from an end customer or a lead, or if you want to drive responses. So that's how I think about it. So when you're thinking about using video or using personal communication in general, maybe think of it like this, like high touch, personal is best suited to driving action and getting responses. And that will make more sense as we dive into this now. And as well, please do jump in if anybody throws a question into the chat. I'm more than happy to sort of break a little bit to answer it. Or I know we've got a Q&A at the end as well. So that's my mental model. I'll give you a quick example. So, I've got a slightly grainy screenshot here, but Grammarly sent out a reminder to me on email last week when I was pulling this together. And it's like, get a year of premium for less than $50. And it's interesting, it's okay, but I sort of immediately deleted it because what I thought they were doing, and what I think a lot of companies fall into the trap of doing a little bit, is, for me, yeah, it's a transactional email in style, but actually if you look at it, it's trying to drive action. So for me, in that mental model, it doesn't really make sense, and the chance of success with this type of email is relatively low. Sure, Grammarly is a massive company now, and they probably couldn't do everything personalized, but the chance of success with this type of email is low. So I'll give you an example that might apply to your own SaaS company. Imagine if this was more the experience. So, this Grammarly email or your own email about a discount went out, and actually it was personalized, and I'll read this bit to you. So it's like, hey, Oli, I noticed you were doing great with Grammarly, so I created you a personal offer to get an annual plan for under $50. Watch the video, so they can click to watch a video. Watch the video to see the 3 key benefits of our annual plan and lock in your deal. I'll just flip back accidentally. So for me, that's just a bit of an insight into that mental model and how it helps you shift your thinking a little bit from the customer's point of view. What would have more impact with the customer, particularly in these places where you want to drive action or get a response? So that's a very quick mental model. So I've put this why regular onboarding videos suck. I don't think they do in general. I think they do for conversion. So I'll tell you quickly why I think that. So really, I looked up when I was researching this, I looked up I think it was best onboarding videos. And I got this sort of long, 30 onboarding video, long article that went into 30 different onboarding videos that they thought were the best, in SaaS. And they're really great videos, but all they're doing for me was the medium touch thing. They're good for educating. So they're more sort of like a marketing type video. It might get someone to sign up, but really they're not going to get a customer when they're in a free trial for you guys to actually go on and convert to pay for your product. They're quite catch-all. They're very one-size-fits-all. So we'll come back to why I think there's better ways you can do video to actually convert people, and why these so-called best onboarding videos are more just educational catch-all resources. So I'm going to dive into, probably take me about 15-20 minutes, 5 tactics that should help you boost your trial conversions, and you can use them today. Really simple. Any company can use these, any SaaS company. They're really actionable. They should take you 10 minutes to an hour to implement each. But I would say the key with these, don't take all of them and go, right, I'm just going to implement all of these straight away. The key is really to test this. So take one of these ideas or 2 that you think look interesting and run an A/B test against what you're doing now, and really get that solid data that shows you that this is a better way of doing things for you. And if you want any other ideas, I mentioned the video funnel playbook. If you go to bonjoro.com/video funnel playbook, and I think you're gonna hand that out to the group as well on the chat, then please do grab that, because that's got lots of other ideas for different parts of the funnel as well. So tactic number 1. So I've called this the book a demo fallback hack. And it's interesting. I saw, we were doing this, and then I listened to a podcast. I actually listened to Corey Haynes of Bear Metrics on Ramley John's podcast. Amazing podcast. If you haven't listened to it, please search it out. He's a really good guy, and there's a heck of a lot about SaaS, and gets amazing guests on there that drop a lot of value. So Corey was on there, and actually in that episode, he talks about what he does with video. And I think he actually borrowed it from Josh that founded Bear Metrics. So he sends personalized videos to new trialists. And he says in the podcast that it doubled their trial to pay conversion from doing that. I can see down there, he's put there's a little part of that article, giving personalized videos and free consultations with trialing users really expresses the amount of care and empathy we have for our customers. And I love that. That's what we're really about here at Bonjoro, and that's what I think video in SaaS and driving action is about as well. And I'm going to show you, like from reading between the lines and hearing about what he's done and looking at other tweets that he sent, what he's doing here as well. So this is a bit of this is me hacking to, I'm no good at like these flowchart things. I should be as a marketer, but I'm rubbish at them. But think about this. So you get a new trial in the door. Imagine you send them a personal video, and with that video, you have a call to action that is to book a one-to-one setup call or a consulting session for your product. They might take that, but what if they are a bit shy? Maybe they're a bit more introverted, don't really want to speak to someone. They'll probably then leave, and you've never got that chance to really give them that personalized experience. So what Corey does and what we do here at Bonjoro and had been doing when it was interesting that I saw he was doing it, is giving people a fallback option. So when you send a video, or if you send an email, like asking someone to jump on a call, give them this little fallback. And I've given you an example script here, which is, I'd love to jump on a one-to-one setup or strategy call with you. Just hit the CTA to book a time, or the button to book a time in my calendar. Alternatively, so this is the fallback, give the say-so, and I'll run through your account and give some recommendations via a quick personalized screen recording. So what you're doing is saying, if you want to, let's get on a call. But if you don't, that's fine. I can still give you value. And we've used this, and I'll show you some data around the success we've had with this and where we use it, because we don't just use it in a sort of random place. We don't just onboard everyone with this. We use it in a very specific way, and I'll show you that later on. So that's the first tactic. So think about that and think about how you can give people a fallback and use video and use screen recordings. There's Loom. We've got our own screen recorder, which we've just launched, that we're going to launch like properly publicly on Tuesday next week. There's lots of great ones out there, so think about that. Tactic 2 is something that a lot of SaaS companies have lots of different niches that sign up for their product. And you've probably all seen something like this form on the right-hand side. So it's like, sign up form, Marcus, tell us about your business. And there's a drop down and there's a particular industry. And we probably create like email automations that go out to try and tailor the experience a bit more to industry, or maybe we don't, maybe we've sort of dropped the ball on that side and we haven't had time to do it. I know it took us it's taking us too long to do some of this sort of stuff. So a suggestion here is use video, use personalized video, use an email with a video embedded in it, whatever you want to do, to actually make the experience more tailored and more personal. But particularly if you're an early stage company and you're not getting tons of signups, imagine you're Grammarly or something like that, you're probably getting like tens of thousands of signups a day, or at least thousands. Here at Bonjoro, we get like over 100 every day. So if you're getting a smaller amount, you can do this. It's very scalable. So I've given you an example, like script or like message prompt you could put with your video. So imagine I sent to someone that put SaaS as their drop-down industry, hey, Oli, or hey, Azar, I noticed you work in SaaS. I put together a quick recording showing you the top 3 use cases for Bonjoro in your niche. So being very specific to them. Check it out and let me know if you need any help setting them up. And then the call to action button, you could put like 3 best use cases for SaaS. So this is really about, I guess, again, being really true to that high touch thing and driving responses. One, that's much more likely to get a response, and also to drive action, to get them to click that button and look at the 3 use cases for SaaS. And you can do that using a tool like Bonjoro, or you could just do it using the screen recording and embedding it in an email. So I would recommend, our internal ethos here at Bonjoro is, it's automate processes, but never relationships. And basically how we use that is we think about the things in our business that we don't mind automating, and they should be process driven. But if it's a relationship driven event that's happening like this, do it manually. So, don't rely on automation too much. They're great automations, marketing, email automations, but try and do some stuff a bit more personal. So try this out. Tactic number 3, and hopefully this is useful so far. This is, and I know Azar, when you put the LinkedIn post out and other places, people have said, what's PQL? So I'm just going to very quickly go over it. I won't go too deep. So the PQL method. And PQL, I'll just read, like Thomas Tungus has a really good Redpoint Ventures guy, so VC guy. He has a really good sort of quote about it. So potential customers who have used a product and reached a predefined trigger that signifies a strong likelihood to become a paying customer. So a few examples of this: Slack, a PQL, someone that's likely to become a paying customer, is a user that reaches 2,000 message limit. Facebook, PQL, is someone that adds 7 friends. That's a very well-known one. Drift, PQL, is someone who's had 100 conversations on their website. These, to me, I'll show you our PQL in a second. To me, these are quite simple ones because they're almost like someone's already on that path. If they've hit that, they're probably almost converted anyway. So I think PQLs at most SaaS companies probably look a little bit more complex and probably have a few elements in them.
Oli,
I'll show you Bonjoro's.
Could you explain what PQL is, like the full form? Like then it's called product qualified leads, right? PQL.
Sorry, yes, yeah. The word itself, the acronym stands for product qualified leads. So yeah, someone that's used your product in a specific way that really is I guess the SaaS term would be like a leading indicator that this person is very, very likely to convert with your product. So I'd say any SaaS company that has a generally sort of quite a lot of signups coming on and are quite product led should be operating on a PQL basis. You should know how many of your PQLs go on to convert into a paying customer, and you should pay a heck of a lot of attention to how you support and help convert those PQLs as well. So really moving away from the sort of marketing qualified lead thing towards a product driven understanding of how people are going to go and convert in your business. So I'll give you Bonjoro's PQL, product qualified lead. So for us here, it's that someone set up a branded template. This is basically if you send a video and it's branded to your business and it's got your own call to action, we call them message templates. So if someone's set one of those up, if they've connected an integration, so if they've connected with HubSpot or ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, and then the third element of our PQL is someone that's set up their outbound email. So whenever you send a video using Bonjoro, you connect up via Gmail or Outlook, or you do verified domains. So you actually link it right into your email sending. So it goes from, instead of oli@bonjoromail.com, it goes from oli@bonjoro.com. So those three, when someone, a user in trial, has done all of those three at Bonjoro, they're a PQL and they are way, way higher likelihood of converting. So we pay them a lot of attention. So what we do with our PQLs as well, and this is something you could think about in your own business, is trying to almost thinking about before they become a PQL, how do you drive them into that position where they're a PQL? How do you get them to do those things in your product that you need them to do? And I'm sure you all think about this, but the way we do it here, and we've done this now for 3 years because it works so well, and we haven't deviated from it. We've done lots of other tests, A/B tests as well, and this one works incredibly well. We send a personal video to every single new trialist, and we drive them to a PQL-oriented resource. So I'll give you an example. We then have a video. So we send a personal video, welcome on board, Azar, great to have you with Bonjoro, and notice you're in SaaS. I've put together a video of the first things you should do in your Bonjoro account. And so what you're really doing is not those other onboarding videos I showed earlier in the presentation. They're sort of like everything. Here's how to use Xero. Here's how to use Canva or whatever. This is more about you getting your customers to take the right steps to become a product qualified lead. So we have then 4 steps to success in your Bonjoro trial. One is simple, sending your videos. Then it's branding, personalize your message, set up a message template, send from your own email, integrate with your existing tools. So give them the very specific steps in a video that then is going to make it much easier for them to become that PQL and more likely to convert. And this is just an example of a sort of reply that we get like every day. We get tens of these every day. So Robert sending one back to Amy, and Amy's very happy that Robert's gone on and done that thing that we wanted Robert to do. So again, talking about like driving action, using personalized video is a great way of driving action. And I know Azar, if we wanted to, I'll flip forward because Azar actually had a bit of experience with this as well. So he did an A/B test, and I'm going to flip forward a few slides to Azar's slide and let Azar sort of jump in on this one quickly.
So at User Pilot, what our PQLs are usually people who are actually installing the JavaScript, and that's pretty hard because you have to talk to a developer and then take this JavaScript and install it inside your application. That's like a lot of hard work when somebody comes inside the application. Like we have a lot of smaller things to do, like installing a Chrome extension, creating some user onboarding flow in app. But like installing the JavaScript is the hardest thing, and that's like a clear indicator that somebody has made an effort to actually use user pilot and is a little bit more convinced than people who are still skeptical or evaluators. So I did this, like I found out, I read your book, and in January, I was just running like a standard template with standard subject line. And I sent these emails. If you look at the screenshot is very blurry, but if you look at the January data, you see that I sent around 16 emails, and out of 16, I got like 12 opened, and around 8% of the users actually clicked on my email somewhere, and 8% of them actually responded. So that was quite low. But in the month of March, I embedded the videos, and I said, hey, the subject line still stays the same, but now it says, hey, great that you have installed the JavaScript. I made a personalized video for you, and I sent this to 16 people. And out of the 16 people, 80% of those people like opened. Previously, it was 63%. And there's out of 16 people, 8 of them actually clicked. So 50% of them actually clicked on it. And people who responded were actually 15% of people who opened it. So like the numbers went up compared to people who were previously opening and responding and clicking compared to previously. Now they're doing it. So and that's just like people responding to me. I cared about either they click on something or they respond to me, and that was happening right after embedding the video. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that. It's really cool. And sorry, everyone, that's so grainy, that picture. But when Elsa sent that to me this week, I was like, whoa, that's even bigger, bigger a jump than I expected from doing this, which is amazing. So I think if anybody takes anything from this webinar, definitely think about your PQLs and think about how you use video with them to drive that response, because that click rate, open to click rate, is unbelievable, like 80%. You couldn't dream of doing that with a regular email. Right, I'm just going to flip back through a few of these slides. You're getting a sneak preview of the stuff coming up. We're at tactic number 4. So tactic number 4, I've renamed this a bunch of times. I called it bad egg videos. I don't know why. I think it sounds sort of memorable. You could call it churn busters. So this is a slightly different way of using video and thinking about how to use it in terms of converting trialists. So what I'd say is go after one event, one sort of customer event or something that happens in your free trial funnel that equals a high propensity, high likelihood to convert, but where there's still a chance that that person won't convert, or they'll churn very early on in the first sort of month or 2 months with your business. So you could call this like a bad egg, like you expect it to hatch into a chicken, and WTF, they don't become a great customer. So what you really want is all of these to become chickens. You want the golden eggs. So what I'm talking about here, I'll give you an example that we've used at Bonjoro, and I'll show you the results that we've got for this as well. Is example, someone's in trial, they add their credit card, and I see this happen a lot, and I talk to other SaaS people about this. Someone adds a card, but actually they haven't really activated with your business. So I can see here, so Sharon added her credit card into Bonjoro. I got a ping, a notification in our Bonjoro account, or Grant did, sorry, one of my colleagues. But greets completed. For us, that means videos sent with Bonjoro equals 0, and they've added their credit card. It's like, whoa, hold on, that doesn't really add up. And this happens all the time in SaaS. People will convert, and you think, great, awesome, we've done it. Or like the CS team will sort of think, okay, we've sort of done our job, we've done our sort of general activation, but they're not going to be a good customer if they do flip over. And there's the chance as well that when they get to the end of their trial, they might even remove their credit card, or they'll cancel before they convert. So what Grant does here at Bonjoro, and has been doing now for about a year, and he shared some data with me this week when I was prepping this as well. He uses that sort of sales demo fallback hack that I was talking about earlier, but he uses it here. So he waits to see someone that adds a credit card but isn't very active, and he says, thanks for joining us. Would love to jump on a one-to-one strategy and setup call. Just hit the CTA to book a time and calendar event with my Zoom link. Alternatively, give the say-so, and I'll run through your account and make recommendations with the Bonjoro screen share, so using our own sort of Chrome recorder. So what he's doing there is like giving that fallback again, and like, you know, Sharon got back to him, thank you, a run through would be great. So he's, you know, if they don't want to get on that call, he's making sure he's still able to deliver value, and hopefully then this person goes on and becomes a better customer, either converts or doesn't churn early. So think about that in your own sort of free trial funnel, because I'm sure it happens a lot. I speak to a lot of SaaS people, I know this happens a lot. So Grant shared the data with me around this, and you know, just in terms of churn, these types of users, like A/B testing, we know that doing this leads to a 17% reduction in churn. So if you're on the CS side of things in particular, this is a great thing to look at when people are sort of already in your funnel. And also, you know, a lot of people probably have read this, like one of our first customers years ago when we launched this, like May 2017, was a big sort of reason behind like our inflection in terms of our growth. Matt Ragland started doing this very early on, and he saw a 14.7% reduction in churn by doing things that he called doing things that don't scale. So using Bonjoro in this way and using personal video in this way. And you can all read his, if you just Google Matt Ragland ConvertKit, maybe doing things that don't scale, it'll come up on Google. Really great post. So that's some bad egg videos or churn busters. Tactic number 5, and we're almost at the end of this, is about timing. So we didn't have enough data around timing, so we ran a massive A/B test here at Bonjoro around video in February and March this year. We basically got 4 of our team members on CS to send, I think it was like 600 videos each. We had about 2,500 videos from those 4 team members. And the key takeaway when we dug into the data is that timing makes a massive difference. So it makes about 25 to 30% difference in open and paid rates. So videos sent to customers within 3 hours of signing up. So the one, you know, I talked about the one that we do, which is someone signs up, we send that video to direct them to the PQL oriented resource. That's something we've been doing forever. 50% open rate versus a 71% open rate if it's sent within 3 hours. So massive difference. So think about timing on these things as well. It does make a very big difference. And you've probably seen other data around this, tons of free trials and stuff. Paid conversions as well, within 3 hours, an uptick of 21% paid. Now, when people are there ready to learn and want to know about your product, give them the right information, give them videos that really, you know, educate them in the right way and drive action. So we've got a rule here now at Bonjoro, and we're trying to stick to this, that no one should ever be waiting more than 4 hours from us from one of our personalized onboarding videos. 6 hours like maximum, but we'll start to see drop off there as well. So I just want to share that with you guys. I think, you know, timing stuff is very interesting when you get this data back. Then the last one I want to just share quickly is about upselling. So I know a lot of SaaS companies will you know, have annual plans, or they'll have like premium features. I think annual plans is like a big one. I'll talk to that. So if you look on the right here, the distribution of subscription length. So annual pricing for SaaS companies is only worth about 6%. You know, cash is king, and you know, cash flow is king for any business. So the more you can get annual plans, the better for your business. And obviously, the more you get annual plans, the lower your churn is going to be. And I just, you know, I looked at some of Profit Whale's data around this, and you know, it's very compelling data. The higher percent of annual contracts, the better. And sorry, this is a bit grainy again, but it's basically showing churn percentage for you know, against the number of annual contracts as a percentage, and it goes down. So the higher the number of annual contracts you have, the lower your churn is as a business. So I want to share a quick tactic around this. It won't take more than a couple of minutes. So what if, and this is something we don't actually do at Bonjoro, but I've heard of other businesses doing and a couple of our clients do, and it's why it came to my attention, and it's in the video funnel playbook as well. So what if you sent video to someone that hit PQL, so PQL for you, and credit card added with your annual plan deal? Basically, that person's like put their hand up and said, I'm a great customer. I'm PQL for you. You know, I'm doing all the things in your product that signify I should go on and convert. I've also put my credit card in. At that moment, it's like 2 hands up. I'm definitely going to pay for this. That's when you should be making your ask to say, hey, what about an annual plan? rather than just sort of sitting back and relying on the usual stuff or automations, dive in and offer them something. Maybe do it personalized. This one, I think if you want to drive that action, make it personalized, because again, the chance of them doing it is going to be higher. So example script for this: send a video. Hi Tom, I wanted to personally let you know about a 20% discount on your plans. Watch the video to learn more about the deal and how to get it. And they could open it there. Brad here, one of our customers, increased their upsell to annual plans by doing this by 23%. So this is super simple stuff. PQL, card added, offer the annual plan, and you'll see the results from it. So one final thought from me, around all these tactics. I was inspired by this. I saw this tweet about a year ago, and it's like James Clear. I don't actually know what James Clear does. He seems to be like a thought leader, sort of generic thought leader. But he says, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And I think that's true for any SaaS business. In particular, we're very systems driven. So think about video, think about that mental model for when you should use video, and try and create, I don't like to create complex stuff. I try and work with very simple systems, and hopefully the tactics I've shared here are really simple systems you could get going in like 10 minutes, an hour, and hopefully then, you will achieve the outcomes you want to achieve because you've put in place great systems. So that's it from me. As I say, the video funnel playbook's got way more tactics in it as well. But Azar, back over to you. I hope that was helpful, everybody.
So much, man. That is really useful, I have to say. I will definitely try the upsell one, because that's where I'm struggling. And usually, I think when somebody buys a user pilot, they start with monthly, and then we want to move towards annual. And that's something that's my personal mission, and I want to improve that. So that is my learning. Quick question from my side before everybody asks question. I don't know if people have that. So I personally am sending these videos, couple of them with video, a couple of them without video. And I also have a video signature now. So I don't have a normal signature in the email. I have a video signature, and I see people clicking on it. And I see people clicking on my videos as well. But I don't see the feedback from them. I don't get enough feedback if they like it or not. They do look at it, they do play it. And a couple of them do still click on the Calendly link. What my question is, how do I know actually that these videos are actually working other than the numbers? Like how do I get the qualitative feedback that these videos are actually good for them, right? And not intrusive at all. And so I just want to know that from my perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting qualitative stuff. I'd say, as marketers, I think more of us have moved towards making asks in our email marketing anyway. You should probably put that in your videos. So I see loads of people doing this thing now, which is the sign off of their email, PS, reply to let me know if X, Y, or Z. You should do that, and you should build that into your video scripts. So something I do in terms of the actual structure of a video is, when you send a video, sort of say their name instantly. That's the most important thing to do at the start of a video, because they've got to know it's personal. Otherwise, why do it? And you only have I think it's 8 seconds or something to keep on stenching that initial bit. So say their name, and then tell them quickly how long it's going to be. I just want to spend 30 seconds to tell you, and then tell them what you're going to share at the start of the video. So it might be, just what 3 things I wanted to share with you to get the most from your trial with Bonjoro. And then go 1, 2, 3, run through them. And at the end of the video, you can say, click on the call to action, but also drive the response element. So you should be saying to people, reply to let me know. So think of it like that PS thing. Have something in mind before you actually send a video or use video that you want people to respond to. People aren't going to respond if you don't give them something to respond to.
Get it.
So think about what it might be.
Cool. So Baptiste asked question that are there any common use cases in video marketing with SaaS and e-commerce? So I think Baptiste is actually from e-commerce, and you want to know, I think one you already showed, the cart one, is very useful. When they already have put their credit card in there, and they're almost going to buy and they don't buy, like the abandoned cart emails that usually get. I think that's one, but I think you can answer.
There are common use cases. Yeah, e-commerce is slightly different. Where we see people using it in e-commerce is more about creating a better customer experience. So, and in doing that, making sure that people tell others about your e-commerce company, and also getting repeat customers. So return sales are really big for any e-commerce. And also getting reviews. So I'll give you a quick example of a company that uses video in a great way. So every e-commerce company will have an email going out asking for a review after someone's purchased a product. We've got a customer that puts like a personal video in between the sale and that ask going out. So in here, they send a video. They actually send a video showing someone the product. They're like a men's fashion store in Denmark. And they show them their product and say, we're putting it in the post today. It'll be with you. It'll be safe. Thanks so much for shopping with us. Since they started doing that, their review rate doubled, and they went to #1 in the whole of Denmark on Trustpilot, which is absolutely insane. So basically, they took their existing funnel, which is sell someone something and ask for a review, put something delightful and personal in the middle, and then the end result, the number of reviews they get, suddenly shoots up. So that's something. I think about it as like more of a customer experience thing with e-commerce. SaaS, it's a bit different. SaaS is very much driving action, but in e-commerce, I wouldn't try too much to drive action with video, because it can feel a little bit like, it could just feel a bit weird. Whereas just doing it will elevate the experience and make sure someone comes back or leaves a review. So fit it into your existing funnel.
So by the way, before going in, I just want to tell you that we recently launched a report called SaaS Product Onboarding, State of SaaS in 2020 about product onboarding. And we found out that only 14% of the SaaS companies are actually using video onboarding. And so I think video marketing is very essential. And I think it should be there. So next time when we are doing the research for 2021, we'll definitely include that. Thanks, Baptiste. And now it is one of my teammates. She's asking how important is background on the video, because she keeps worrying about if it's professional or not. I mean, yours look very professional though. I like it.
Background on the video, interesting, really good question. I think, do you mean the background? I'll look at the chat. Do you mean the background of the video like this, like where you are recording it? Cool. Okay. It's interesting. It's not that important, but it sort of flips things on its head a little bit. So what I'd say is Bonjoro was built, we have an app, we're very app led. So we have a mobile app which lets people go and record videos wherever they are, where they feel comfortable. So I'd say the background isn't as important as where you feel comfortable recording a video. So think about, if you're in the office at your desk, well, we're not now, we're all at home, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're in an office at your desk and there are other people in earshot, you might not feel comfortable and you might not send the best video, you might not project in the way that you should be. So, video is all about finding your own sort of happy place for doing it. I'll go and do personalized videos, onboarding videos for Bonjoro. I onboard all of our affiliates as well at Bonjoro with personal videos, and I drive them to a little walkthrough video of the affiliate program. And basically this means they're stickier, they're going to drive more clicks and stuff. And I do those on lunchtime walks, and I live sort of near a park and there's a river, and I'll do it there because I'm comfortable there. Other things I'd say more important than your background are, that sort of thing. Make sure it just sort of, psychologically they know it's like a video. Smile as well, that's a really bad smile, but smile when you're waving in your thumbnail. The thumbnail is important, and then the message prompt itself is important. But don't worry too much about the background. It's more about being comfortable when you're sending it.
That answered the question, Elise. So before answering questions coming in, I'm just going to send the next webinar link for people who are interested. It's on user onboarding emails. So if anybody wants to join, they can click on it and join us for the user onboarding emails. We have another specialist coming in. We can go on. If there are any more questions, please keep answering. We are here to help. We have 3 to 5 minutes more left to answer those questions. Yeah. Cool. So in the meanwhile, if somebody gets into it, I'll ask another question. So I have a great salesperson in the team, and we do talk about video and non-video, and he's driving as much as clicks and opens. I showed you the difference of mine, but he's also driving same email clicks and response rate, and I see that in HubSpot. What do you think about that? If somebody not using the video and still driving the response rate, should you still have the video in there or not? Like that's something I'm still wondering. Should you still have the video or not?
I think for me, it's thinking about your customer. So don't think about yourself too much. So it's if as a customer, try and visualize being your own customer and think about the experience of receiving this video, if it feels right, and imagine your like SaaS company, and onboarding video is a very good place to send it because it shows that you care. It's about trust. It's about inspiring that relationship that will hopefully then last with that person. So if it's a moment where you're trying to be quite relationship driven and it's important as well to you and your customer to create that relationship, then I'll definitely use video. There are times and places where that's not relevant, where for the customer receiving it, it might not feel right. So I think it's very much like context dependent in terms of your own business and the customer. So if you've got a way that works where it doesn't really necessitate the customer needing that, but I would say the trust factor, the sort of relationship building part of it, and the propensity for those people to then stick with your business and become advocates or super fans of your business is much, much higher when they've had a highly personalized experience. If they've just had a standard email or even a personal email, there's no real sort of obligation there. Like I wrote a white paper 2 years ago about like customer delight. And one of the things I found out when researching that white paper was why personalized marketing and personalized communication works so well. And it's all about this thing in the base of your brain and the top of your spinal column. It's called the reticular activating system. And it basically is, if someone says your name, so say you're like at a cocktail party, someone says your name, so someone said Azar, and you weren't part of that conversation, you would immediately, your conscious brain would be like, oh, someone said Azar. Or if they said the name of a movie that you've been thinking about going to watch, immediately tune into that conversation. So that's like that part of your biology is like kicking in. So using video and saying someone's name and being personal is really about getting access to their conscious brain. And once you've done that, you've built a platform on which you can build a relationship with that person. So it's much more than just the form of email versus video. It's more about how we act and operate as humans, and you're really sort of tapping into that with video.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, not everything can be responded in terms of data, but like you think more in a human way as well. Makes sense. So we have another question here. Oli, I think you can see it if I'm correct, right? I think Sam is asking some question. What are the best practice in very large organization, 1 million users, right? So that's all very interesting question.
Yeah, interesting. I'd say it's very hard to answer that if I don't know the organization itself and don't know their sort of funnels and their touch points. But I think like trying to think about that mental model again, which is like, are there the high touch stuff? Using personal video for me is very much when you want to drive action or get a response. So it's like, okay, think about segmenting your users in terms of the drive action, get a response side of things. If you've got a larger group of customers, you can still use video, but it might be in a slightly different way. Bonjoro and my expertise isn't really on the very low touch side of things, like the enormous group side of things. It's more about that drive action, get a response. So without knowing your business, that's hard to say. I would, it'd have to be broken down on a team level and what sort of funnels you have, what sort of segmentation you have as a business. I think it's really about looking through your own segmentation and thinking, what are the opportunities here where we can do it in a scalable way? As an example, here at Bonjoro, we send at least 100 personal videos every day. It doesn't take very long. There's only like 4 or 5 team members that are doing that thing, and we can do it. We think about charity. Charities are massive organizations, but they're sorts of people as well that could stand to benefit the most from stuff like personal video. And big organizations already have this stuff. Like, imagine you've got 1 million users. I know like charities that have massive phone teams, or like universities that have huge teams of people that hit the phones to get like donations from alumnus and from the university. So there's already that, it's already sort of there in the marketplace, but I think it just needs to jump into video as well.
So segment, that's the short answer, if I understand. Great.
Segment it.
Thanks to the point what works and what not. How do you create a personalized video in the CTA, like specific to the user? It's like going to be manual or automated. I don't understand the question, and I don't know if you do. From Vinay.
Okay, so from Vinay, the CTA. So the way we operate, so Bonjoro, one of the things we set out to do as a business is to help companies scale being personal with their customers. Part of that is you can set up message templates. So you basically, all you do on Bonjoro is you operate off a task list. So you will have like an integration set up with your CRM. And if a customer hits a certain trigger event, like a tag or an event happens in your CRM, they're added to your task list. You hit record, and then you use a pre-built message template, which has like a little, so you always do your personal video, but the message is alongside it and the call to action is already there. So you just have different message templates for different call to actions and a call to action that's specific to that part of the funnel. So yeah, it's really about, like for us, that is it's a really good question because it's about how do you scale it. For us, it's about this thing called message templates. You could have different screen recordings that you've got ready, and you've got different call to actions on those screen recordings, and you can use those as well. So it's a good question.
Great. I think it's the last question for the day, which is, do you have any tips using video while prospecting on social media or in cold outreach? I mean, not related to trials, but fair enough, ask the question. So
yeah, it's we don't focus that much, and my experience isn't that much on sort of cold outreach. I think video, like I said, is thinking about the customer and when it's going to be right for them. In terms of prospecting, I actually think when you're prospecting, stuff like screen recordings are probably a more powerful weapon. I've had some really good pitches come into me where someone's basically said, I've taken a look at your business and I've noticed these sort of 1 or 2 weaknesses. I put a screen recording together to show you how our product solves that specific pain point. That's really powerful. Like, I think when you're cold prospecting, I find it hard not to watch those videos. I've had a few of them and I've watched every single one because it's shown that person, it's almost like a proof that this thing is personal. If someone sends an email and it's just a text email, that it could look personalized, but they could have sort of faked the personalization slightly. If they've done a video and they're talking to your particular pain point or your website, it's like, it's proof they put in the time. And I feel obliged then to go in, like the law of reciprocation says, I've got to go and watch that video. So I wouldn't fear using video in cold, but I just think about like, what's the value? What do they want from it? Stuff like screen recordings is amazing, particularly if you've got value for the person that's on the other end.
So my opinion is that like only send personalized videos. I used to do that for, let's say Oli has a video and that video is like has a SaaS and I'm just trialing it out. And while I'm trialing it out, I see something which is a weakness and I can say, hey, I found some weakness. I can share a video with you, and then say, yeah, sure. And then you can you see the video and you say, hey, this is a problem I have, and that I start the conversation. So for me, that's the point I did, and that's what I did with Corey as well from Barometrics. Cool. So I think there's one more question. Do you want to take it? Joris is asking.
Yeah, that's all that. We personally call every lead that comes in twice. We offer free one-to-one demos, online webinars, and often face-to-face meetings across country. Very tiny country. I wonder where that is. The videos are a lot quicker than calling. Any experience what happens when we swap them? I don't have any specific data to hand. What in terms of swapping videos for calls, it'll slightly depend on sort of your customer type. Again, like I say, the sort of context of the customers. I'd say trial it. Like I said at the start of the thing, like A/B test this stuff. I can't say, I don't want to sort of say like, snake oil, like, yeah, that'll definitely beat what you've got. Just do it. It's cheap and easy to start and to give it a try. Take 50 versus 50, quick A/B split test, do your videos versus your calls and see what sort of difference you get. Anecdotally, I have loads of evidence that this works for people. So I'd say it will work. Yeah, give it a shot. Particularly in these times we've got at the moment, using personal video is going to be more relevant than ever to make you build those relationships with the customer.
So at User Pilot, we have also had similar issue as well, like not issue, I would say like similar challenge. And the challenge was how to do onboarding. Let's say a lot of customers are thinking about how to do onboarding. So I think of always in MVP onboarding. So we teach a webinar on MVP onboarding. So I think what we should do is like do some kind of MVP on calling people one-to-one, and then MVP on, which is already working for them, and then you can do just MVP on videos, and then that will give you enough data to actually realize it. So that's what I would do, like just do a small experiment, just like you said.
Yeah, definitely. And you can do that for free because, you know, Bonjoro, other tools out there, at the level you're going to do it, you probably fit into a free account. So you could try that for free, see how it works, and then move into a paid account if you need to.
Great. Thank you so much for coming in, Oli, and making the content specifically for my users and my audience, and appreciate it. You can all visit bonjoro.com and try the whole video onboarding yourself by signing up. It's free. I've tried it. It's an amazing product. Thank you for all coming in.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Azar, for having me. That was really cool challenge to put that together.
Yeah, cheers, man.
It's really good.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Cheers, you too. Bye, everyone.